And here we come to the intersection of art, music, spirituality, humanity, sexuality with our work. We come to this intersection. After making music, we started making music together in 2020, my husband and I. And we didn't know what the band was going to be called. We were going to be called Buddha and the Beats because we wanted to be spiritual, but we also wanted to have beats. And so we were going to be Buddha and the Beats. And we released an EP. We did 3 songs, Aliens with Candy. And we did 3 songs, and Merrick loved it. I loved it. I'm like, I missed making music. I used to make music in Nashville in the 2000s, up until I discovered drugs, hard drugs. That took care of everything. So we were like, yeah, let's do this. Let's start a band. Well, today we created a virtual boy band. But I'm going to get into that later. But I want to give you this. So I was like, I'm 40 something, babe. Like, what business do we have starting a band? I'm 40. You're in your 20s. But Merrick was like, you have a lot of knowledge of music, Patrick. You know Prince. Prince is your favorite artist. Like, what did you learn from listening to Prince all of those years and having him be his favorite artist? What kind of songs would you write with this knowledge of Prince? Not only that, like Garbage and 9 Inch Nails and Ministry and Madonna and, well, of course, Gaga. But see, I just didn't love music. I studied these artists. I would listen to songs and I would be like, they're doing this and they're doing that. And Merrick said it would just be a huge loss if you didn't make music. And Merrick was a beautiful songwriter. Like, he can come up with hooks. He can come up with melodies. He's good at lyrics. And so we both sat down and taught ourselves music. We could sing a little bit. We could carry a tune within our limits. We could come up with beats. We could write melodies. We could write lyrics. So yeah, it made sense for us to make music. It made sense for us to do this because, yeah, I do have a lot of knowledge of music. And I love to innovate, and I love to write songs about things that maybe songs have not been written about. And so we made several albums of music. And I would consider those kind of training albums or testing albums because I learned that I loved producing music. Merrick would make a raw demo track. I would come in and add instruments and effects, and I had to learn how to master. I had to learn how to audio engineer to a degree, all done in our bedroom. Like, we didn't have the budget to go into a studio and do it, but we loved making music. We loved it. And even today, we love making music, even though AI figures heavily in our production now, because we can make songs sound like they have a big budget. And we laugh about it because we were listening to a song in the car. Like, here's another thing. You've got to listen to your songs off of a bunch of different speakers, even off of a TV. So before we release a song, we're listening to it on the TV. We're listening to it in our car. We're listening to it on a Bluetooth speaker. We're listening to it on our studio monitors that we have here. And we're listening to it in our headphones, our crappy headphones. And so you have to listen to a song in various different ways and know that it's going to sound good or decent in a variety of ways. And so we were listening to one of our songs called we were listening to it, and it's about a subject that is not often sung about. And we laugh because, no sane person would give us a budget to make these songs the way that we're making them today. No label. Even we would not lavish production on songs that we know are not going to be like super popular. But using AI in our production, it speeds it up. We use AI in the way that we would hire somebody to do these things. You would hire a guitarist to play this lick. You would hire a singer to come in and do background vocals, or you would hire a singer to do the vocals at all. And when we started our band, Buddha and the Beats, we eventually changed our name to the Concrete Shamans because we were already doing concrete shamanism. And we thought, well, that would be just kind of an extension of that. And, the music would be a part of our spiritual practice. And it still is to this day. It's still a part of our spiritual practice. And so even though we always kind of envisioned our band, we envisioned working with other singers. We have envisioned working with other musicians, and that it was never going to be just us. It was never going to be just us. But also when we were working with other people, or when we were feeling it out, but it seemed like professional musicians were like, oh yeah, you guys got something here. You got a unique sound. You got a unique vision. The professional musicians were kind of like, I'm interested to see how you guys develop as artists. I'm interested in seeing that, because your early stuff is going to suck. Your early stuff is not going to be your best stuff. But we live in an age right now where you have to share the stuff that you're not so proud of at first. You have to sort of do it in public. You have to kind of do it in public, especially, and it's very much learn as you go these days. So the professional musicians and artists that we talk to were like, yeah, like you guys have something, you guys have talent, and I'm interested to see where your sound goes. But we found like the amateur singers or the amateur artists, they didn't understand what we were doing. They're like, oh, you guys, and I think that's because people are not used to, and this is probably emblematic of the community in which we live. We live in a small town now, close to Nashville, but not actually Nashville. So, many people around here who are artists or creative people have long moved away, and they're just not used to encountering people who make music. And they think that if you're not Taylor Swift or Jelly Roll or somebody like that, that you're not doing anything. It's not worth it. Like if you don't have millions of streams, it's not worth doing. Well, of course it's worth doing. Of course. How do you think those people got those million streams? How do you think those people got where they are? You gotta eat a lot of shit. You gotta play a lot of shows. And so we, since 2020, we have been focusing on getting better, writing better songs, producing better, evolving our sound, making songs that touch a part of the human experience that isn't often touched upon. And so when we started using AI in our production, that the album So You Want to Be Enlightened was the first album that we used AI production on. That was last year. We wanted to write a book about the enlightenment experience, and we thought it would be more fun to do it as an album, but also include lots of different genres and styles and things that were out of our ability to pull off. And so, we had been using AI music as kind of a joke to do jokes with, writing songs about our cats. And we were not really understanding it. And then one day, Merrick wanted to he was singing a song in the car, and it was a song, and he was singing that song in the car a cappella. And so he wrote the lyrics and he recorded a demo of it, and then he sang the song, and then we uploaded the song to Suno, and the Suno picked up on the instrumentation, picked up on Merrick's vocals, and picked up on all that stuff, and then out came the song. Out came the song. Well, it wasn't that simple, because we did have to do several generations of it. But we were like, so we can make our songs, and then we can fully produce them just as if they were recorded in a studio. And we don't have the best computer, and we don't have the time really to do it, especially for stuff that's probably not going to make money, because music is extremely devalued. So we were like, wow, we could really produce a whole album that sounds consistent, that's of high enough quality, and we can make it a cohesive experience. And it would be like we're hiring musicians and we're hiring vocalists to join in on this collaborative effort of the Concrete Shamans. And it was a really, wow, we could really do what we always wanted to do. Bring in other people and have them express themselves, because the AI sometimes expresses itself in a way that I would never choose, and it results in a really interesting inflection, an interesting element. And so for me, using AI in production is like working with real people, working with tantruming actors and actresses, and because it's not a push button thing. I do want to talk briefly about AI, or the AI stealing from other artists and stealing from other people and robbing people of their jobs. Look, we have tried to hire people and work with people since 2016 to do Oracle decks, to do other things, and it's just impossible. It's impossible to hire people for things today, especially if your budget is small, and people are not as passionate about our projects as we are. They don't want to be associated with gay people. Okay, now y'all think homophobia is over, but it's rough out there. People don't want to be associated with gay people, or we're sober now. We're sober. So back in the day, we would, get a 12-pack of beer, sit around, write some songs, make some music, shoot a music. No, like, people think that sobriety isn't fun. And also we're kind of intimidating. Like, we have a vision, we know what we want. And I know this. Somebody has to tell me constantly, like, you guys are kind of intimidating. We're also married, and there's a lot of reasons why. That it's been difficult for us to just hire people. And I don't think money is the issue here. It is unless there's a lot of ego involved in it too. There's a lot of ego. There's a lot of ego. So, we would hire people, or we would work with people if they were there to work with. For the album Bait Fuel that just came out on Friday, when we did the songs for it, we were not going to use AI in the videos. We were going to use real men and real people. And so we contacted OnlyFans models, thinking that it would be a neat collaboration, especially OnlyFans models who didn't have that big of a following, but they seemed pretty uninhibited and all of that. And another thing is people have body image issues, and they don't. It's a lot different now than it was like when I was doing male erotica 20 years ago. You know, straight guys especially, like, shit, yeah, I'll get naked and be in a 3D picture. There wasn't as much, I would say, as much morality or puritanism. It's very weird. But today, it's a lot different. And so, you know, we really did want to work with real models and real people. And we just couldn't find them. And we did really try, but then it became like, I don't want to harass people about being in music videos anymore. Let's just do AI again. Let's see how far we can go with this. And so we created a virtual boy band of very attractive men who can sing, dance, they're uninhibited, and they can work long hours. And so working with the AI in this way, like we chose 11 guys and we created digital avatars for each of those guys when we gave them names. And then we made the videos as if we were working with them. So like you take Adam. Adam was really the first guy that we worked with. And he is very handsome. He has his own personality that we didn't even program into him. You know, like the thing about this is that it's so fascinating is we started with a picture of each of the guys. It started with a single picture of each of the guys. And we were able to generate all the footage for the music videos based on one picture of each guy. And so, you know, there's Adam, there's Oren, there's Matt. And so we were working with these guys, and in many ways they became real to us. And even when we're still working on videos for the Bait Fuel project, we were like, this is really an interesting approach to making AI art and making AI stuff. I don't want the disconnection about it. I don't want the this is AI. Realism was very important. Connecting with the models was really important. Now, some people would criticize this and say, well, why would I watch this? They're not real. And I'm like, honey, everybody, if you are following a hot guy's OnlyFans, the chances of you ever meeting him in person are almost zero, unless you got a lot of money and can hire him. But most of us are never going to meet the people who are on our screens anyway. I mean, I've met Nicole Kidman, but I don't have her phone number. I've met Dolly Parton, but I don't know her phone number. But the people that we see on our screens, we're never going to meet them anyway. So if it looks real and if it feels real, why does it matter? Why does that matter? Now, I think it's great that people are all about humans being paid for their art. And I know many people might think that I'm making an excuse or a cope about it, but I wanted to see something that I had never seen before. I wanted to see men comfortable in their sexuality and their masculinity and their desires to the point that I don't think I could have hired these men at all. These men do not exist. And these men that exist are so fucking rare, they're not interested in being in front of a camera either. You know? And that's why I love using AI, because it should create things that can't exist. That's the power of it. That's the brilliance of it. Because, you know, when we made the movie, and the movie Bait Fuel looks like a a beefcake magazine. The first time Merrick and I saw it, our jaws dropped. We're like, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. This is a work of art. This is not just AI generated slop. This is something that we spent probably hundreds of hours on. I don't even know. But if we had done it the traditional way, it would have been thousands of hours and hundreds of thousands of dollars to make. And so it never would have gotten made. It never would have been done. And we love the stuff that we make. We make the stuff because we want to hear it. I want to hear a song about needing to ejaculate. I want to hear that. And I want to see a music video done. So we created this virtual boy band to take it into a realm that we wanted to see. What would it be like if 11 hot guys got together and decided to help each other make a movie and help each other and style each other's hair and do the costumes? What if this group of 11 insanely talented men who are also good looking and also uninhibited, like they don't exist. Guys like that don't exist. Guys that are in our music videos, they do not exist. Not in the real world at all. And if they do exist, they're rare. And can you get 11 of them all together to work on something? I don't think so. So creating this virtual boy band was a way for us to explore these themes that we necessarily wouldn't even express. There are songs that Merrick and I have written that do not express our views at all, but they express the views of men that we know or men that we've heard from or men that we even follow on social media. And so that's the weird thing about this, because we might write a song about something and it may not even be our opinion. It may not even be something that we are all that interested in. That's why when people say that, or when they project on it that, Patrick, you're a sex addict, or you're a baiter because you did and I'm like, bitch, I'm just writing songs about the things that we see. I do know that that people would be resistant to it because it uses AI. I know that. And I do think that that's unfortunate, because there are people right now who are innovating in this space. There are artists right now who are using it secretly. And one of my close personal friends, she has already had a major label record deal that she got dropped from. And so she's reaching out to her contacts in the industry. They know it's coming. They're just waiting for the first big artist to do it and make it okay. Who's it going to be? Beyonce? Who's it going to be? Who do you think the first artist to use AI and make it okay? Again, I know it's going to be okay because it costs way less money. And only the end product matters. And that's why it's going to be accepted, because budgets are on audio, music, entertainment production, they're tight. And if you could increase the quality of something while also not increasing the budget, look, CGI animation is expensive. It costs a lot of money. So can you imagine the independent films that you're going to get? Can you imagine all of the explosion of human creativity that's going to come about because of AI? And that's why we created a virtual boy band. So Merrick and I have the whole backstory of how this came to be, how these guys crossed our path and how we crossed their path. And nobody will ever know the backstory. But we spent a significant amount of time writing the backstory of each and every one of these men. So that's why we created a virtual boy band. Now let's hear a song from them. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
What's it like to be a man like you? What's it like to be a man like you? I like your neck when it's warm from the night. I like that holler right under your jaw. I like my hands on the curve of your shoulders. I like your chest rising heavy and raw. I wanna lick the salt in your pit.